Good morning, everybody. It's time for another shop video. And a couple things I want to talk about. In a minute, I'm going to talk about this machine that's right in front of me. But first, I want to mention that I just finished up a brand new Acer laptop this morning. Set it up with all the security and all the software. And that machine is actually left here and is on its way to the owner. So that's a good thing. Now for this machine in front of me. Those of you that have followed me for a long time know that I do custom built desktops. And this is another one of them. This particular machine is being built for a local land surveyor to replace the current machine that he has, which is at least 10 years old, if not older. It is a Windows XP machine, and basically, you guys have heard me talk about this before, but I will mention it again. If you are a Windows XP or Vista user, the clock has run out for you. There is nothing more that can be done with Windows XP to make it usable, or Windows Vista. The problem has to do with the fact that no third-party web browsers, i.e. Mozilla Firefox and Google Chrome, will support either one of those two operating systems, because the browsers are no longer being supported. There's no new versions of those browsers coming out. Thus, the browsers that are on there can no longer support the new HTML standards and the new web page coding methods properly, and web pages either don't display properly or they may not display at all. This is the boat that this particular land surveyor was sitting in, and he had heard from another land surveyor / civil engineer that I had built a machine for to go to me and have me build him a machine. This machine that you see in front of you is the end result. First of all, as you can see from the case, this is a nice big case. We have plenty of room to do whatever we might need now or later. The power supply. This is a PC Power and Cooling Turbo Cool 850 watt power supply. Let me explain a little bit about PC Power and Cooling supplies. They got started back in the 80s building supplies, upgraded power supplies for the original IBM PC. The original IBM PC only had a 63 watt power supply. And back then it was a very common upgrade to an original IBM PC to put a hard drive in it. Well, the original 63 watt power supply couldn't handle those hard drives, and a lot of them blew. So there was a demand for an upgraded power supply, and PC Power and Cooling was born, and they created a 200 watt power supply for the original IBM PC. That was their first product. Very high quality product, and they have been putting out high quality power supplies ever since. These things are built like tanks. They can take whatever you can throw at them and then some. Multiple video cards, huge processors that suck 100 watts just on their own, just for the processor chip, no problem. PC Power and Cooling has got what you need to feed it. The motherboard. This is a really nice Asus P9D WS motherboard. The nice thing about it is the graphics that are on board here are already set for an AutoCAD type application. In fact, this will run full-blown AutoCAD straight out of the box with no additional video card. Now, the program that my client is using is called SiteComp, which is a lot less graphics intensive than AutoCAD is, so it's going to have no problem here. It will have 32 megabytes of RAM. As some of you may be able to tell, there's no RAM in it right now. That's because I don't have the memory yet. The memory is being delivered today. But all 4 of these RAM slots, the black and yellow slots that you see here, will be populated with memory sticks. 3 hard drives, 2 of which these are 2 1 terabyte Western Digital Enterprise class hard drives. The upper drive will be for his data, and the other drive will be strictly for backup. He also has a crucial 250 gigabyte solid state drive, which I can't show you, it's behind the case. That's what will hold his Windows. And because Windows is installed on an SSD, it's gonna be unbelievably fast. You won't believe it when you see it. And I got this little expansion card over here. This is because he needs a parallel port, which is this large port back here, for those that have never seen it, to run his plotter. He has an older HP plotter that requires this big connector. So this card will provide it for him and let him be able to talk to his large plotter. All of my custom built machines use very high quality parts. ASUS motherboards, I've been using them for years. This is an Intel based ASUS motherboard. They also make AMD based motherboards, and I've used them. The biggest thing with my custom systems is United States based technical support right here. You have a problem, you call me up, we get the problem fixed. Period. No questions asked. It's that simple. Try going through that with Dell or any other of the large computer manufacturers. Those of you that have gone through it will understand what I mean. That typically doesn't happen. Here's the motherboard box. I use the motherboard boxes to give the client all his materials back. All the discs, all the manuals, everything that he's going to need will go back in this box. I obviously have not done any software on this machine yet. This thing hasn't even had its first power up. Because I don't have the memory yet. As soon as I have that this afternoon, I'll be putting it in and lighting this off for the first time, and you'll get to see some video of that. This box right here that I'm holding is a USB based 3.5-inch floppy drive. He needed this because he still has a great deal of 3.5-inch discs that we will need to access and get moved over into other places. As you can see, I also need up all the cables too. This is all the extra cable that we don't need, the extra power lines. And a lot of the other cables for these drives actually run back behind the case so you don't see them, and the only cables you do see are the ones that have to go to connectors on the front, like this big main power line. This is the power line for the CPU, and this line down here in the corner, this ribbon cable, I don't know how well you can see it, is for all the controls on the front power switch, the front reset switch, etc. And we've got USB on the front, and we've got all the features you need in a modern computer, and we've got plenty of fans. So that's basically an overview of one of my custom systems for all the viewers that watch. Now, I would like to make a couple shout outs. One to Crucial Technology, my memory vendor, who really saved me yesterday. When I went to order the RAM originally for this build, I noticed it was back ordered, which hardly ever happens with them, to be honest. And I called them up and they told me it was going to be 3 weeks out. So I figured, okay, no problem. Well, after I got everything in here yesterday, hardware-wise, I went to check and I called them up again, and they said it's going to be 2 weeks out, at least. And I said to the lady, I said, where can I get these RAM sticks? And she said, let me look at some of our distributors. And she found me a distributor, B&H Photo and Video, out of Manhattan. They not only had exactly what I need to finish this board, but they also, because they're based out of Manhattan, I'm going to be getting this in a day. So they really saved my behind. The other shout out that I'd like to make is to Keith Rutger of VintageMachinery.org, that down in Tifton, Georgia. He's been helping me out with some camera questions that I've had. This camera has a lot of hours on it, and it's starting to show some signs of some minor breakage, so I've been doing some research into some new cameras, and he has been a huge help, and I mean huge. If you want to go check out his channel, you can just type Keith Rutger into YouTube and you'll get right there. He's got lots of cool machining videos, and he's got one heck of an awesome shop. So everybody, please go check him out. Thank you, everyone. I will talk to you soon, and like I said, we'll get some video of this machine fired up. See everyone next time.